Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a hot topic that's shaking the political and academic worlds: former President Donald Trump's growing backlash over a controversial funding freeze. Harvard University is suing the Trump administration for freezing a whopping $2.2 million in federal funding. What's the story behind this? Why is it such a big deal, and why does this have people on both sides of the political aisle riled up? Well, buckle up, because things are about to get spicy. So here's the drama. Harvard, one of the most prestigious universities in the world, has taken legal action against the Trump administration. Why? The government slapped a freeze on $2.2 million in funding, and Harvard is firing back, claiming that the move was politically motivated. That's right. A $2.2 million chunk of federal money is now the center of a massive legal showdown. But what exactly sparked this freeze? It all comes down to a series of protests on campus related to the Gaza conflict. If you've been following global politics lately, you'll know that tensions surrounding Gaza have been at an all-time high. As the situation worsens, students and faculty members at universities across the US, including Harvard, have been actively protesting, expressing their views on the conflict. These protests, however, didn't sit well with some in the Trump administration. So the big question is, did the Trump administration use funding as a political tool to silence or influence these protests? Here's where things get messy. The Trump administration has been accused of leveraging federal funding to pressure universities into aligning with certain political views, especially when it comes to issues like the Gaza conflict. Critics argue that this is part of a larger effort to influence academic policies, stifling free expression and academic freedom in the process. But supporters of Trump's actions argue that universities should be held accountable for their political activities, and that taxpayer dollars shouldn't go to institutions that promote controversial or divisive positions. Now, Harvard is fighting back, filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration, claiming that this funding freeze is not only politically charged, but also a direct violation of their rights. Harvard's legal team has pointed to what they call an unconstitutional action, arguing that the government has no right to use funding as leverage to control the curriculum or influence political expression on campus. The lawsuit has ignited a firestorm of debate. On one hand, you've got academic institutions arguing that they should be free to operate without political interference. On the other hand, you've got critics of these institutions who believe they've become breeding grounds for bias and political activism, something they argue shouldn't be funded by taxpayers. So this isn't just about $2.2 million. This case represents a larger, more disturbing trend of government interference in academia. The Trump administration has been accused of trying to steer universities towards specific ideological stances, especially when it comes to Middle Eastern politics. But this move raises serious questions. To what extent should the government have the right to dictate or influence academic policies, especially on issues of political and global significance? The controversy touches on a deep issue at the heart of American democracy: the balance between freedom of speech, academic independence, and government power. And let's not forget that this is happening in a politically charged atmosphere. You've got the Trump administration, which has faced accusations of undermining democratic institutions at every turn, and universities, which are often seen as liberal strongholds. In this context, the funding freeze is more than just a legal dispute. It's a flashpoint in the culture wars. On one side, university leaders argue that academic freedom is sacred. They argue that campuses should be places where controversial ideas can be debated without fear of retribution, including political issues like the Gaza conflict. Free speech, they say, is essential to the very fabric of higher education. Without it, you risk turning universities into echo chambers where only one perspective is allowed to thrive. But the other side of the debate is just as intense. Critics argue that universities have become too politically biased, pushing agendas that don't reflect the diverse views of their student bodies or the broader public. In this view, the government's intervention is seen as a necessary check on what they see as unchecked political activism that happens behind university walls. They argue that taxpayer money shouldn't fund institutions that push one-sided political narratives. The ripple effect of this lawsuit could be massive. This case could set a precedent for future battles over the government's role in funding higher education. If Harvard wins, it could embolden other universities to stand up against political pressures from the government. But if the Trump administration prevails, it could open the door for more government intervention in the academic world, raising questions about the future of academic freedom in the US. Beyond that, this lawsuit is a glimpse into the broader culture war that's been raging in America for years. The clash between liberal-leaning academia and conservative politics is only intensifying, and this funding freeze is just the latest flashpoint in that battle. Whether it's protests on campus, debates over curriculum, or government influence on universities, the political and academic worlds are increasingly at odds. So, where does this all go from here? Harvard's lawsuit could lead to a long legal battle, but one thing is clear: the stakes are high. This isn't just about a university and a funding freeze. It's about the future of free speech and academic independence in America. The Trump administration's move has sparked a firestorm, and it's not just the $2.2 million that's at risk. It's the very way we think about the relationship between politics and education. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think the government should have the power to influence universities like this, or is this an overreach that could have dangerous implications for free speech? Drop your thoughts, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more political analysis and updates on the latest news. Catch you in the next one.